Welcome, everybody. I am Emily Gulmer and a podcast engineer with the World of Ability Podcast Network. And I'm excited to say that we are just about to launch a new show with the network uh, called the Mastery of Connections with MC Holmes, or our Master Connector, Alan Holmes, who is out of California and is a veteran and who we met through the Happy Neighborhood Project. So um, I am going to uh, I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and I am going to bring in Alan here to welcome Alan. Uh,
Thank you,
that's it over
thank
to
you,
you to
Emily.
get us kicked off here.
Thank you, Emily. Let me get out of this light here. I apologize. I should have looked at my light a bit. I apologize, but thank you so much for having me. And before I begin, I wanted to say thank you to Trent from the bottom of my heart, the Spirit of Game Foundation, for allowing me to be part of this platform to host this. As a master connector, um, I specialize in connecting business owners, entrepreneurs, and consumers with unique and innovative resources. In short, I call myself a human search engine, but for this part of the mastery of connections, as I'm known as MC Holmes. This is our first show, so it's an honor to be a part of this. I want to bring in an incredible gentleman to the stage. I'm a veteran. This gentleman's a veteran, and he is with a company that can help not only veterans but others with business credit. I We have various different massive connection resources that are going to be part of our show and our group, but he is the first one. So without further ado, I would like to just have Jared Smith step up to the mic and be a part of it.
Thank you so much for having
Thank you, Jared. Jared, how are you doing this morning?
me. It's hump day, right? Um, so and it's Valentine's Day, so that makes it hopefully everybody here took care of their spouses correctly or significant others.
Oh, absolutely. We take care of our significant others. Otherwise, we'll be in the doghouse, or they say so to speak. So, but thank you
Exactly.
for being here. Lone Star Valor. I love that name. I see the background, incredible background. Jared, tell me a little bit about Lone Star and tell us, what you do and how you help your clients. It's your world, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. So, again, I'm the owner of Lone Star Valor Funding. What we do is, we help small businesses and startups learn how to establish their business credit, learn how to grow it, learn how to utilize it correctly, as well as we also have a wide list of lending services that we can offer to small businesses as well. And my goal here was to be able to provide small businesses with the knowledge to grow their business correctly because the scary stat that always stuck with me is that 50% of businesses will close in the first 5 years of operation, and a large part of that is due to the lack of funding and the lack of ever establishing their business credit. So most of these small businesses are not doing it correctly, and they're putting themselves in real harm's way of closing their doors because of that. And I absolutely do not want to see that. And so that's what we created here was the ability to help those individuals, even if they are not ready for their funding, even if they're being turned down for their funding. We want to try to help them to get established, so that we can hopefully get them access to funding in the long run. Because what they're probably doing and what most of these small businesses do is intertwine their personal credit with their small business, and that's detrimental to both the business and to their personal life, because when they go to try to get a car loan, when they go to try to get houses for the personal, it's going to be entwined with the business. And same with the business. If they go try to get a business loan, that being intertwined in with their personal, it's gonna affect their, how they get a loan as well. And so that's my goal, is to separate those two and make the distinction that, hey, they have a business here with business credit, business funding, and then they have their own personal life as well.
Oh, wow. That brings up an interesting point. So many business owners, they're trying to separate the two and commingling. Now, do you help with personal credit, or how do you handle that if someone has it?
So I don't do personal credit repair. The credit repair life is vast, and there's a lot to it. And so I don't really mess with the personal credit in that regards. I do try to help and give good advice, but like utilizing your credit cards correctly, making sure that if you're going to put business on credit card, making sure that it's a business credit card and not your personal credit card, and I am making and trying to get them to understand why that affects them and how that affects them, and try to at least give them a good understanding of their personal credit. And so that's kind of the extent that I help with personal credit.
Okay, all right, I mean the whole Lone Star Valor. First of all, thank you so much for being as the owner and the brainchild behind it to step up and be the first of massive connections resources. Tell me a little bit what drove your passion to do what you do. I know you served in the military. Did that have any kind of indication of how you got started or why you started? What was your kind of your brand, your story? What was
Yeah,
your
absolutely.
kind of
Uh, yeah, that's not a problem. I was in the Army for 13 years. I thought I was kind of over that hump, as we like to call it in the military. After 10, we're lifers, right? And so for me, in my head, that's where I wanted to be, or that's where I was going to be, was 20 plus years in service, and retire, and do all the great things that we do afterwards. Well, unfortunately, I guess God saw it a different way, and I ended up getting medically retired at 13 years. So I didn't get to do the full 20. I didn't get to um, plan my exit, really. Um, I didn't expect my exit. So when I got out of the Army, I was not prepared at all, mentally or physically, and physically, I mean, financially, or any of that aspects. And so when I first got out of the military, it was a rough time for me. And I tried to get jobs. I wanted, didn't know what to do. So I started applying for jobs, and nobody hired. I couldn't find anybody to hire. And so I was like, well, let me try to start my own business, but I couldn't do that because my credit was crap, because when I got out of the military, I wasn't prepared, and I had to make sacrifices, and it is what it is. But my credit wasn't there. And I'm like, well, I really want to start a business, but I didn't have the means to do that with my credit, and I finally have worked my way out of that slump that I did. But it took me a long 7 years, to get a lot of that stuff off my credit and get a lot of that. So in the meantime, I went back to school, worked on accounting, my accounting degree, started focusing on finance. And I've been doing finance, I've been in the finance world for about 3 or 4 years, but most of it was behind a desk, and I didn't like that. I still had the urge to start a business, still had the urge to reach for the skies. I didn't. Progression for me is important, and so um, I just didn't see that, or a place that the places I went, and it just nothing moved me, and I didn't feel like I had the purpose until I started this. And that was my goal, was I didn't want to see somebody else like me have that same issue, especially from the veteran life, um, because it was a dark time for me during that period.
Okay, well, I applaud you. From one veteran to another, I served as well as the Army. 87 to 90, 13 Bravo. So thank you for protecting the serve. Your passion, I can see it come through. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Let me ask you, Jared, when someone who's a veteran, and I know you help non-veterans as well, so that's incredible. That I can feel the vibe from you. When it comes to the process, if someone that says, you know what, I I have my credit is shot. I'm like at a 350, or how do you get them calm up? Because I know some people want to say, well, you know what, I can do business credit myself. Why do I need you, Jared? What is your response? How do you?
And I tell people absolutely a lot of the stuff that I do is free. It's out there. There's a lot of information out there. The problem is that it's very scattered, you know. Trying to hunt for all that information is here, there, you know, everywhere. And so really trying to find it can be a struggle. And so what I did, it was I built the software into my website, and the program, it walks them through everything. And so it brings everything there, like how to register your EIN, how to get your DUNS number, how to, you know, how to look at your website and see it, you know, how that looks in the eyes of a bank, you know, how to make sure you have your email correct. You know, it looks at all that stuff, and then it puts it either there for them to read. There's a little lady there that they can listen to, or the other option is that they can call me almost any time. And you know, I can walk them through it, or you know, guide them, and you know, if they need that kind of help as well.
Well, absolutely. I mean that's an incredible thing, and then just to let you know that as part of the Mastery of Connections, and we're gonna in a minute we're gonna check in with the World of Abilities, and we have a couple of other the Spirit of Game Foundation one. Just to let you know, thank you, Trent, again for just want to slide that in is because of that platform, this platform, along with World of Abilities. And I understand that, you know, to kind of plug in a little bit, you're working with this gentleman. You may have known him, Kurt. I know he is an incredible, him and Emily. They have shown that Lone Star Valor is a very incredible company that I can say that I've got to know Jared. For those who are listening on the live stream, you're using a platform. How do you get your message out? I don't want to kind of spill the beans. How do you get your message out when you're talking to business clients? I know there's a lot of social media. There's a lot of things going on. How do you get your what is the best way to get in contact with you?
Yeah, man, that obviously the best way to get in contact with us is go directly to our website, which is lonestarvalorfunding.com. And there we've built a free scan so they can go in there and fill out all the information. And then it's designed to pre-qualify them for you know, funding options. And there's no obligation. They can accept to apply for those things or not. And we don't charge for that. And so that's usually where I like to send people, because it just makes things systematic. But if they're not ready for that, you know, they can reach out to me via email, which is support@lonestarvalor.com, or lonestarvalorfunding.com, sorry. And you know, so that's another way. And our phone number is 210 610 1970. And so they can also reach out to us via phone as well.
Okay, well, Jared, this has been an incredible bit of information. I know you're a great veteran. I know that you're going to be part of the Massive Connections. We have on LinkedIn. It's a group that, you know, we're going to make sure that we post your message there. So anyone who wants to learn more about business credit, or they're just overwhelmed, because I know credit is something that can definitely, both business and personal, need someone like your expertise to be able to help them kind of navigate, so to speak, through the waters. And any final thoughts, hopes, or visions you want to share with, pearls of wisdom you want to drop on the MC Home Mastery Connection circle of groups here?
The only other thing I would add is that we do the business credit side, but if they're just looking for funding as well, they're not obligated to do the credit side. They can reach out directly to us, and that's kind of the other thing that we do is we try to pair them up with the right lender for them and what they're looking for, and what's important to them, and you know, important to keep their business operational, or what it is that's going to fill their dreams. And so that's the other thing is that we absolutely can help them with funding as well. So it's not just the business credit aspect as well.
Wow, wow. Well, Jared, from all the way from Southern California to the Jared Smith land of Valor, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being part of the Mastery Connectory and Spirit of the Game Foundation. I want to plug them again, Trent, for allowing us to be a part of this platform to kind of spread the word of Valor, Lone Star Valor, funding, business credit. It's just incredible. So thank you for being part of this. I know that as Massive Connection, we have other resources that support Jared. There's a word of ability, and Kurt and Emily. They're an incredible group of individuals that help both Jared and myself with the Massive Connections, and we're looking for you. Ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, part of the world, you have a vision, you have a hope, you have an idea, you want to be a part of the Mastery of Connections. Someone like Jared, I would definitely highly recommend, just not one veteran to another, but as a personal note, this gentleman can definitely has a heart of a lion and can serve you well. So thank you, Jared, for being part of this.
No, I appreciate it, and I just wanted to add, one other real quick thing, and that's to you, Alan. I appreciate you allowing me to be on here as your first guest. So to me, that's truly an honor, and I truly do appreciate that. And I know you haven't really had a chance to talk about you and what you do here, and I know you're the host, but what you do here is critical, to even me running my business, and to most people running their business, because we need things like business funding, like business credit, like getting on podcasts, like marketing, and you are such uh, a master at this. I know you're a master connector, but you're the I mean, I've never met somebody that's so well connected with resources, and that's one thing I just want to add here is that I appreciate you and everything you do for us, and always have that connection ready. And so, if you're not sure, um, if you are trying to find somebody, or you're not sure who to look for, I highly recommend Alan reaching out to him, because he's got the connection for you. And so that's my only other thing.
Well, thank you, Jared. Kudos to you, brother. We're gonna see each other again very soon, especially next week, which probably leads us into the segment of next week, when we have actually later on before the weekend. There's a little birdie told me there's a word of ability, and the disability channel. There's a couple of other connections that are part of the Mastery Connection, and you're right. This is what makes us as a whole become full circle on exactly what this is. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's probably a good time to bring in Kurt, and bring out the myth, the legend, himself.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys. This is, truly an exciting moment, in bringing this out because, I find that, when we connect from the entrepreneurial circles, from connection to funding to, media on my side, that, you know, the whole art form is about how we're playing a role in helping people get what they're looking for. So we're connecting to business people all day long. And what is the function of a business? Jared, you're right in the middle of it, that businesses are money making machines. And sometimes you got to input some money, you got to invest some money to have that business perform to where that revenue generation, that income, that profiting, you know, to have the capitalism take place. Because when you're talking about funding, you're providing the business capital, from which to build upon. You're talking about Jared, you mentioned Alan is like amazingly resourceful in how he knows people who have these other resources. So, I'm involved with a group called Mutual Aid, so maybe being veterans or in your lives, maybe that makes some sense that yeah, I'm guessing you guys vibe in that mutual aid. And what the mutual aid network has taught me is that it's about mapping. It's about taking, how you're learning about what's of value to somebody. Like when we're networking, we say, what's a good referral for you? Right. And then we learn that. And then that becomes part of the value we present because we become an extension of that person's efforts to connect. Mastery of connection. And, so that to me is what we're doing here. And now when we do this, for a couple decades, I've been using a mantra that not a lot of people at the Happy Neighborhood Project, and I don't use it a lot in my networking anymore. But when there's situations like this is the platform to give what I've been tailoring for decades is marketing through technology and events. So this obviously is in my wheelhouse because this is the epitome of marketing through technology and events. Before we went live, we were talking about technology. Now, one of the technologies we were talking about is no card. And when we bring up this subject of the brand no card, the branding and the process and the platform immediately lets you access what is no card. So, Jared, what is no card?
Well, that's a great question. Way to put me on the spot. No, so no, like no card is in my opinion, what no card is to me is a social media service. It helps provide a organizational tool for your social media. And so what it allows us to do is it creates a page that we can share all of our links, all of our info, all in one area. It's got an ability to add in business cards in there and add in your outside personal pipeline, which to me is great because I do in-person networking as well as online networking. And down here in San Antonio, they absolutely love doing business cards. So I have a stack like that's this big of business cards, and I'm struggling to keep them all and making sure that I know where they are to find the right connection, right? And so that's another great tool. And for me, that I saw a huge benefit in that aspect because it allows you to put the business card in there. It makes it really streamless. And so it does that. There's also the social media posting that you can also create in no card that allows you to share between no card people. And so it's just a great tool to use in the networking environment.
All right. So, Jared, what is your no card link?
That's
Nocard.app / what's your login user?
That's it. I've got it right here. So it's nocard.apps on or backslash LSV funding.
Okay, all right, let's get that together. I know Emily, our podcast engineer, is on top of that. She's got a list of our connections, mastery of connections, like taking an inventory. Emily is taking care of that in her VA capacity, but I've got it here. LSV for Lone Star Valor Funding. Okay, so that's an opportunity for people to get a free note card and then get with our crew here and other people at note card to decide, if there's more that we want to do with note card. But in this mastery of connection, we're a group that says no card really puts us on the right track as we're trying to be productive, be fruitful, and to take care of as many people as possible and to have a unified platform and do all the things that we know we need to do in the field of connecting as entrepreneurs, business people, service providers, all of that. Definitely in the sales capacity. Not everybody is comfortable to talk about sales. Most people don't want to be a salesperson, but there truly are things in the realm of sales, personal selling, that it is helpful for people to be aware of and comfortable with and in their own fashion. Whether it's just about being of service, like Emily here, she likes to be our super helper. So if you say selling is being a super helper and you're just going to park the selling thing and be a super helper, being a super helper is very fruitful in selling because people want to know that they're being served. And it's the old adage of, people don't care what you know until they know that you care. And Alan, that's where you come in. We know that you care, Alan. Isn't that the key to the mastery of connection? It's all about love. Here we are in Valentine's Day. So, Alan, speak to that a little bit. Where is
Oh,
love?
there he is. Love is definitely, wife is behind me. She said you got to make sure that you take care of your significant others. So many of us are on Valentine's Day or we're either with the significant others, or we don't. And there's a gentleman that, it's, go ahead and plug another HNP connection of romance by choice. This gentleman is definitely someone you should look out for. Talking about massive connection because he is definitely he calls himself a dream weaver. He's not a matchmaker. So definitely look him up or look for us to be talking about him too. But yeah, love is something that we as entrepreneurs, whether entrepreneurs or family or business, we take care of each other and support us. And that's what Massive Connection is about, is just checking in. I just got a call in between here, the show, got to follow up. This gentleman, the love or support of Project Die Hard that we're going to be part of next week. I was helping a fellow veteran last night. We had some challenges, and Mr. Gibson got back to me, so I got to get back to him. But because it's about love and support for veterans that are just in a dark place, or anyone in general. So when it comes to love, in short, it's about who you know, and like you say, and Kurt, it's not people talk and say they care, but until you actually show it, it makes a difference. So we can talk about love for a while back, but I know that we're coming on around an hour. But I want to thank again in closing, Jared. Thank you so much for being part of this circle, and Trent with Spirit of the Game Foundation, and because of him that we were able to have this situation. Thank you, Kurt, for what you do with the World of Building Disability Channel, and everything. Emily, she is, like you say, her superhero. So all encompass love.
Did I,
There we
did, did I hear you say you have a love connector?
Well, yeah, I tell you, never. I always tell people I never know
I
who I
love,
meet. Yes,
I'm gonna tell you
he's
if that ain't proof that you know everybody and you have a connection for something, I don't know, because how many people know a love connector? I don't. Wow, you know.
Yeah, actually,
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
80 with romance by choice. You know, they know well, I mean, we're talking about you, Alan, being a love connector though, right? You may know Bill, but we're talking about
Well, I see. This what I do is I throw words out there, and they say I call myself master connected, love connected, destiny, because I always tell people this is what makes me different. I never know who I'm gonna meet, and it's just a coincidence. I happened by choice that Jared shared with me as a love connector, and when somebody says, okay, it's basically just to get the icing on, the icebreaker, and they say, well, what do you mean? Oh, I'm glad you're talking, Bill Scaletti with Romance by Choice, and I'm sure he's out there doing his thing. But yeah, absolutely.
Yep. All right. So, Emily, are you out there as podcast engineer, VA scheduler? Thanks for scheduling in this wonderful live stream. We are off to the races. I believe, Alan, we're going to be doing this as a weekly show, and you're welcoming guests to come on to the show. Correct?
Absolutely. Looking for the next superstar for their 45 minutes of fame. Jared Smith was the first one. Who's next? Thank you so much. Sending you out there with love. And I'm happy. Stay happy.
There we go. Let's connect happiness. Following Edwin Edberry, Chief Happiness Officer of the Happy Neighborhood Project, providing us the Happy Co-op. And Emily here is also one of our co-hosts with the Happy Neighborhood Project for H&P North US. Emily, are you out there? It's time for our wrap-up conclusion. I think we done did it, Emily. The floor is yours as podcast engineer of the World of Ability Podcast Network. Way to go, Emily. You done did it.
Well, again, thank you everybody for Jared for joining us, Alan for starting the show. And as always, as part of the World of Ability Podcast Network, and so thank you for the network, and as until next week, to stay safe and stay happy.